Time for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need a motion for the acceptance of the agenda. Motion, please. Ron, second. Molly? Any questions? All in favor? Hi, Sam. Hi, Janine. Anybody for public forum? Joey?
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to touch base. We had two now negotiating meetings with the, between the support staff and the district. We have switched to the IBB, which is the inter-based bargaining method. 2 thumbs up from this guy. It is a very, I think, a very productive, good method. We have gotten a lot accomplished in the last 2 meetings, more than we have ever got accomplished in 2 meetings at any other point in time ever. The conversation, the dialogue that's had in the room, I think is a very good thing. You have multiple views of things where you don't always maybe get one side of a story or you understand one side of something. You have multiple people listening to the same concern and then trying to come up with a way to resolve that. And I'm very grateful for this process because I feel that it has opened up relationships, not just with myself and administration, but it gives my other members the opportunity to get in a room with administration and get a little more comfortable around those people and not feel that it's them, us, or the superintendent, or it's more like it's Lynette, or it's Ashley, or Nick, or, you know, I just feel that it's been a lot better. The conversation has been very good, and there's been a lot of compromise on both sides to get to a position where I think we all benefit, And I just wanted to update you. I am grateful that Lynette asked for this, or whoever asked for it, that we're doing it this way. And we have a couple more meetings. I was hoping to already be done. I thought today would be the last meeting. I was wishfully thinking. Other than that, I think everything, I have nothing bad to say. I think this has been a great experience, and I'm very happy to be involved. And thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
I just want to say I was there all day as well with Joe, and you're absolutely right. It's a good tool, so there are no misconceptions. Everyone feels comfortable speaking their mind with no judgment, right? And it is a great communication tool, and I love bargaining this way as well.
I feel from a lot of what I've heard, they don't feel scared or intimidated to talk in said room, like where they're going to be attacked for something that they said. I've got a lot of positives from my people that were there, that for some of them, this is their first negotiations, and they don't really know what to expect, but they are very surprised by what we've accomplished. And then there are some others of us who have been around for a while who are just very surprised by what we've accomplished and how well this method has
Works.
It's nice to hear the other side and not.
And why, right?
Yes,
You
it's nice to
understand.
hear a why, and then it leads to conversation.
Correct.
That hopefully we can make middle ground, which we've done a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Bonnie, didn't we get that from when we went to?
Yeah, it was one of the
Yeah.
sessions that I went to at NISBA,
remember.
yeah. And the same people came to, Andrea was here today, so, yeah.
Good.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Nobody else, Alexis? Okay, I need a motion for the acceptance of the consensus agenda. Motion? Ron, second? Margaret, any questions? All in favor? I'm gonna look at you, you're yours.
That's all right.
Just kidding.
I want to vote no all day.
Okay, perfect. All right, we have a presentation. We have Lynette, who's filling in for Dr. Elsa.
Oh,
No.
all right, so, please feel free to ask questions, but I may not have all the answers because I haven't been as in-depth with the components of a portrait of a graduate. Are they academically prepared? Are we providing creativity, opportunities to be innovative? Are we helping students to learn how to be effective communicators? Are we helping them to grow and expand to be a global citizen and understand what that means? Can they think critically? And are we providing opportunities for them to be reflective and future focused? So the new courses, and I will add that we had another one come through. It was on time, but the paperwork got lost somewhere. It is Advanced Floral Design, but we'll bring that up next time. That is through the agricultural. I just want to mention that first because it's another great one that is about being innovative, about creativity, giving students different opportunities. It did come as a request from students that have been involved in the FFA and the agriculture program, just the opportunity to advance their skills in floral design and arrangement. And I believe there are 10 to 15 students that would be interested in it. So I don't have all the details on a slide for you, but I just wanted to make you aware of that, okay? The ones that we have up here, there are a couple really unique ones that I think are great for career opportunity and exploration, which is cartooning for comics and animation and an introduction to early literacy. But the other four are really connected to in December when we had our math and our science department present, and they shared with you data and how our students were performing. And the courses for geometry, Algebra 1A and Algebra 1B, Foundations of Science, are specifically for students that may need that additional support or a breakdown of building their skills and their knowledge in a different way. And we'll go through that. So when you look at the overview, though, I think it's important to see that we have creative, innovative classes. We have some courses here that will support our students who need some extra support or need to move at a different pace through very important content material. And then we also have an offering of Physics 101 and 102, which really does the same thing. Physics is not required, but we have a lot of students interested in it. And it is a very in-depth topic, and this would give them time to break it down a little bit more. So why would we have new courses? Again, aligning to the components of the New York State Portrait of a Graduate, we want to offer a variety of well-rounded opportunities for all of our students, 9 through 12, providing scaffolds for students so that we're maintaining a level of rigor and expectation for them, but also working at the pace that is going to meet their needs in building that knowledge. Different opportunities. We've gathered student voice the last couple of years to see what they're interested in and why. We want to support current department goals that are aligned with our buildings and our strategic plan. And we also want to make sure that our students are prepared to succeed on those Regents exams and other state assessments. While the Portrait of a Graduate and a lot of the announcements are that there won't be Regents, the idea is more that we are going to begin providing more project-based learning opportunities for students, different ways for them to demonstrate that they have met proficiency or gone beyond it besides a Regents, but that doesn't mean that a Regents exam is going away. That doesn't mean that we are not going to offer AP courses or AP exams and things like that, okay? Course 1, Foundations of Science. This would be specifically for incoming 9th graders. It's a full year course. I guess a prerequisite might be that I've been struggling a little bit with my foundations in middle school with science, science. The course is intended to reinforce those essential knowledge and skills that they need. It would be specifically targeted instruction based on data of that cohort. Scaffolding the learning in different layers, again, providing hands-on as well to build confidence and competence in their knowledge. And it also will give them enough of an overview that students can be invested in deciding as they move into 10th grade, do I want to start with living environment or am I more interested in taking earth and space? And it gives them the knowledge to know where their confidence is and competence and which course they would be, they should like set their path on. Okay. The second course, the college physics, they are going to earn college credit. It would be up to 4 college credits if they finished 101 and 102. This would be open to students in grade 11 and 12 because they would have had to have taken either living environment or earth and space or both of those, and then this becomes an option for them.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So didn't we have this course already,
I can't answer that.
Ashley?
I don't know. I don't think so. This is
Because
breaking.
I remember, well, it wasn't that long ago, because I remember they were trying to get rid of the physics, and I kind of like, no. And then we did the class, so then we got rid of it again?
My memory, so I've only been in the district 11 years, so I think the thing you're talking about was right about 10 years ago when Kim Antal was here, and we had a larger student
It was after
population.
she left.
We had a larger student population, and so there was a push towards high school physics and then either AP physics or college physics, and that never really got,
Oh, so it never
Resolved.
happened. Oh.
and then she left,
Hmm.
and our student population dropped considerably. So I think what Cassie is considering and is offering is instead of high school physics and then college physics, she's saying that the Regents physics, from what she's told me, is very similar in content to a lower level college physics. So she wants to replace it. Is that right? That's my
You know what?
understanding.
Thank you. That sounds really on point. And when I went through all the details of the paperwork provided, yes. So
Okay.
thank you very much.
And it sounds like what Brooke described when she was doing her presentation.
Yes, thank you for that, Sam. Absolutely. It's, again, algebra-based theory and laboratory and hands-on for physics, which is a focus on mechanics, thermodynamics, and wave motion. Benefits students who want to pursue that higher education or a related degree program or career in STEM. It doesn't just have to be post-secondary college. The requirement for this class would be that you would have to pass Algebra 1 with a 90% or higher and Algebra 2 with a 65% or higher. I know that 65% sounds lower, but Algebra 2, as we know, is really difficult and challenging. And again, it's the opportunity to pursue something prior to getting to, community college and just finding out what you're interested in, right? Because there's so many careers that a background of basic knowledge in physics can impact. Okay. Course 3 is Algebra 1A and 1B. This would be an emphasis for grades 9 and 10. I didn't change that, sorry, it would be full year. Again, it's going back to building those foundational concepts. This is only a myriad of what is part of algebra, and Sam or anybody else could tell us that. But when it comes to expressions and equations, everything that was put in the paperwork from the teachers includes every single thing. So we know that there's different kinds of expressions and equations in algebra, so I just put that in general. Understanding basic functions and solving systems of equations, which is so important. The PACE would offer more time to deepen concepts of algebra. So rather than just focusing on the rote action steps, it's building the understanding behind the why of the math and its importance. Regents data was looked at and the number of students passing grade 8 math to support a course like this that provides more time and opportunity for students who need to build the knowledge and skill base in order to be successful in algebra, which is a basis for other courses. So again, And what we heard in the math and science presentations is not lowering the rigor level and the expectations, but moving more at a pace that meets students' needs, gives them more hands-on, and allows them to really explore that learning a little bit deeper. Applications of geometry, very similar. It's project-based. The idea to apply geometry into the real world, build spatial reasoning. There's a lot of students that will build a better understanding of these conceptual concepts of geometry when it's hands-on or it's applied to something in the real world. And that's the intent of the purpose of this. So it is geared towards students that are better served when they have models and explanations of mathematical thinking and the reasoning behind it. And I don't know, I think probably everyone in here had to take geometry, but I would have definitely benefited from this course because when I could see things like that in hands-on, the big aha went on. So any questions about this? We're not breaking down any courses over a longer period of time. It's just pacing, using data to target exactly what these students need as far as strengthening their skills and their concepts in these courses. Okay, early literacy. This is a fantastic idea that was a collaboration between Katie Rodriguez and Jim Carabas. The idea of supporting our older students in learning about what is entailed in early literacy and how do students learn to read. The course is broken down into 2 semester courses. The first one is really helping the knowledge, the science of reading principles, learning what those are. The Scarsborough Rope, which includes everything that you need in order to become a strong, proficient reader. It would give them opportunities in the second semester to work with middle school or younger students, push into classrooms, even have an opportunity for something like field work, which we know that when we have students in college pursuing a teaching degree or teaching assistant, they get those opportunities. Learning things like what is the purpose of a literacy assessment? How do you progress monitor and why are you doing that? And then what do you do with that information? Teaching them how to structure a literacy lesson. And it is for students considering a career in education. You don't have to be a reading teacher. You don't have to be content. You could be interested in being an aide, being a teaching assistant. But just to give kids that exposure, and I love the idea too, that they also get the opportunity to work with other students that are younger and have that experience as well. And to see what it's like in, teacher classrooms. Course 6, this was developed by the art department and one of our newer teachers, Mr. Geezer, cartooning for comics and animation. The idea behind this course is that you would need studio art and even a painting course, and really thinking about what are students interested in right now, what are they asking for, and what are the kind of career and jobs available in art. So drawing and painting, he said definitely studio art, would consider students also having to have completed drawing and painting. It just enhances our offerings. These are 2 strong art careers, like I said, especially with how technology is growing and changing. Even with AI, this is something that is a very viable career. And it would end with a project-based learning opportunity where they're creating a comic or an animation. So I think that's everything that we have right now. And all the ways that you can support us as we work on developing these is know the data, just like it's important for us to, or ask those questions. What are our trends? What are our students saying? What are post-secondary pathways for our students? Ask questions about alignment and impact. And I know that we had great questions in December when the math and science departments were sharing out, because we want to look at, again, that portrait of a graduate and how does this support our students and how will success be measured? We always want to support the why, not the logistics, because those are the things we can figure out. When is it going to be in a cycle for students. How many kids can be in the class? Where is the class going to be? Is it going to run every other day? Those are logistics. But the why is just working to understand the rationale behind some of these changes and adjustments. Always looking at it, which I think our board does really well, is from that student lens, what's in the best interest of our students? What are they seeking? What are they asking for? And I really keep envisioning how can our district be innovative and ahead of the curve of other districts, whether they're larger than us, the same size, or smaller. We want to have continuous improvement. We want our students to have voice and opportunities that maybe they don't necessarily get somewhere else. And we also need to know, when does information tell us that it's time to stop something and maybe try something different? And we really need to be open to that. So that's it. Are there any questions?
Does this have any effect on our staffing levels?
It should not at this point. I know that it would be a matter of, and Darby could jump in, student interest, what we're able to offer based on the other things that we're offering, but it wouldn't have an impact on needing more teachers. It would just be a matter of what we're going to offer. Is there anything else you want to add?
And some of the things, as you guys know, we do some courses on location. So year one, like we do AP5, or year two, we do AP, well, it was 10, right? So we do some things on rotation, which we're gonna probably have to do in order to have all the new courses that we've had over the last couple of years, really try to get them to do great courses. One of the things, interesting things, just so you guys are aware, is a couple of meetings ago, not really sure when, but you did approve a comic book club. So that would also go really well with that animation and comic book drawing class.
Thank you for adding that.
Yeah, and that's a totally different teacher, just so you know. We have some really talented people that are not necessarily in our art department.
Linda, did you want to add something?
Just to the question about staffing, from a science perspective, the foundations course, part of our goal is looking at what wasn't working. And the students were not necessarily being successful the way we had it set up now. And so in terms of staffing, within a year or two, it should just be a wash, because the idea is that they'll be successful earlier as opposed to needing to repeat classes or wake up and say, oh, I have to pass this class to graduate high school. So we've got a lot of that happening in the science department. They're having a hard time, the ninth graders, really catching on to that idea. And so our hope is for those students, we can catch them early instead of when they're 17.
I'm glad that you said that, because what I would point out as well is that another layer of this is that we see with our data that we have students that are repeat ninth graders, repeat 10th graders, and nothing has really been in place to help them get over that hump, right? So they get discouraged. Why should I be coming to school? I'm going to keep failing. So we have a group of students that we recognize that are coming through that need things at a different pace, need to build those foundational skills and knowledge. So they may not be as needed as we move forward, because we are working on credit recovery with Apex and providing opportunities for our students right now that are repeaters like that to get that extra lift by staying after with some teachers or even embedding it into their coursework during the day. And I know that that's something that Mrs. D'Elia and Mr. Simons have been working on and has been a high priority. So, any other questions, thoughts?
Love the art and animation. Okay. There's so many artists.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up, we got the science research
So
program.
you just hit
Linda.
this one, and if it isn't that one that works, then you just hit that one. Okay, we're in flip.
So I was asked to come talk about the program a little bit and to give you an update on what we're doing lately. Full disclosure. What? Okay, I was gonna time it, so.
Then you just
pointing.
All right. So full disclosure, Francesca is one of my wonderful science research students. All right. So most of you have heard me present before, but the who and what of the science research program. This year I have 2 sophomores. They range yearly between 2 and 10 each year. It all really kind of depends on which students are interested in taking the class as incoming 10th graders. You have to start the class in 10th grade. There isn't a way to start it in 11th grade. So this is kind of a funneling system at this point. In this year, they learn how to read research articles. These are written by professionals in the field, so they are written at the PhD and above level. These are full-on research papers. They dig deeply into their topic, and they reach out to experts in their field, and the goal is for them to do all that and then develop their research question by the end of the year. So I've got 2 students working on that this year, and the most I've ever had is 10. This year I have 7 juniors. It has ranged between a low of 3 and a high of 7. You'll notice it's a smaller high. This year is a very unique year because I had 7 sophomores last year and I have 7 juniors this year. And it is looking like I will have 7 seniors next year. It'll be the first time that everybody has managed to continue on. And students drop for a variety of reasons. It's not usually due to anything going wrong. It's just a slight difference in value of the course to them. That first year is very different than the next year's. So for example, right now they're all developing their research methodology. They're writing a detailed research proposal. They're going to be defending it to the Science Review Committee, and then they'll begin collecting data once it's approved. That is very different than spending your time reading, which some students get to that point and they're like, oh, that was fun, but I don't want to do that. So it all really kind of depends on where the kids are at. Seniors, currently I have 4, of which Francesca is 1. I have ranged between a low of 1 senior. In the COVID years, I had a senior every year for 3 years, but we have made it over that hump. And I have had up to 5. And like I said, I'm hopeful to have 7 next year. In their senior year, they have hopefully finished completing their experiment. That's not always true. Like right now, I've got Francesca is completely done. I have 3 that are finishing up right now. But they need to analyze and evaluate their data, figure out what it means, complete their research paper, which often is 20 to 40 pages long, develop a PowerPoint, put together a poster, which are the posters you've seen in the hallway right here, as well as in the science wing, and then they share it at several different symposiums. Why science research? So I heard Lynette talk about small and mighty, and providing other opportunities, unique experiences, setting ourselves apart from the rest of the schools in the area. Science research does all of those things, and it is not just for our upper level amazing valedictorian almost category of students. You know, that I have had salutatorians, valedictorians, board committee members. I don't really know what your role here is, but the Francescas of the world I've had, but I've also had the students who really struggle and who have IEPs and who I help them daily to think it all through, but they are still doing the research. So it is a unique experience that is what the kids make of it. And it is something that, as long as they're interested in science and they want to think, they can do it. And then it's their own interest and they become an expert, so it's incredibly valuable to the student themselves. They gain a deep understanding of the research process. They gain better presentation skills that I'm showing right now. Critical thinking, writing, networking, and communication. They can earn up to 12 college credits through UAlbany, and they stand out in college applications and job applications. I wish I knew the name of the school where Sophia Zaccaroli, she's another of our seniors. Where is it?
MCLA, Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts.
So she went to just the interested students meeting, right? Applying students meeting of that school. Her application wasn't even finished being submitted yet. The faculty were there, the psychology department was there, and she got talking about her work with one of the professors. And the professor turned around the next day and wrote her and said, I want you in my school. You know, and she got accepted. She is going there, and a lot of it is on the strength of the ground that she could stand on in talking to this professor. And the professor wants her to continue her work. So they definitely do stand out. Whoops, I went the wrong way. So I was asked to share some student voice, and I thought since I've given everything, which I'll get to later, I didn't manage to get any students other than Francesca to come. I do a presentation to ninth graders every year, and sometimes students can come and sometimes they can't. So I asked my science research students to put together a list of the pros and cons to tell the ninth graders. And I think if you look at the cons, it's a really valuable list to see, because the things that the kids are talking about as cons, we all know as grit, right? So that's what they say is hard, but they get through it. And then the pros they talk about is teaching organization, independent work, satisfaction, learning how to do formal emails and phone calls, the fact that I'm there to help and their classmates are there, we're a community, making connections with people and looking great. So that's, a standard list that you can think of. But going back to that cons, they get through the hard and stressful. They get through the fact that it can be confusing and it's frustrating. It's different. They can't just turn to their neighbor and say, hey, what are we doing in science research today? Can you give me the answer key? They can't do that. They have to do a lot of independent thinking. So I did a presentation this last May. We are now 10 years of finished science research in Taconic Hills. And so I asked my science research graduates to tell me, to share some of the value of the course. So I had Allie saying it's helpful to her in the sense that she knows how to sit down, do research, and write a paper. And she said it's something that she's seen a lot of people that they just don't know how to do. Jaden Crothers was talking about the dedication and help is always available within the research community. Discussion and support are paramount. That's a really mature thing to say that she learned in high school. Being disciplined, work independently. Hunter Gardner also talked about the fact that the backbone and research is the backbone of how we learn anything new. So having a deep understanding of it serves him well in everything that he does. Salma talked about having high standards personally and academically and how it supported her in gaining those and pushing herself. And then Carly Hathaway talked about the fact that even though she's no longer doing anything to do with science research, the process of documentation, following procedures, learning how to read and figure out what the documents are talking about has supported her in her current work. So we are making a broader impact, and that is the thing we're handing out, not that one, just the other one, just the brochure. Thank you. I'm sorry. So we are now in our third year of hosting the Taconic Hills Science Research Invitational Symposium, which is a very large mouthful that I shortened to TH Invitational, for our regional high schools. The focus is on sharing completed research, making connections with scientific peers, learning from each other, and celebrating science, which is the whole point of a symposium when you're a scientist anyway. So the history of this, and some of you heard this before, is that we were asked to host the competition, the regional competition. And it was really a competition. It was a feeder thing. First, second, third, move on to the next one. First, second, third, move on to the next one. And then New Albany, we did that for a year, and it went well. And then New Albany lost the hosting of that regional competition, so they didn't need a sub-regional anymore. And so administration and I sat down and we decided to hold it anyway. Last year we held it anyway. We had half the number of people as we had the year before. But we did something very different. We did, we did something called a breakout room that I did with just everybody. So for example, at this current one that we, spoiler alert, we didn't actually manage to hold it. We're either going to hold it in April or virtually because last weekend was 2 days of snowstorms. So my date and my snow date both got snowed out. So that's why I didn't see a date on there that doesn't make any sense. So at the one we were going to have, we had 80 students apply. I can host 64 of them in 8 different rooms. Thought you'd be interested in seeing what type of science they were all interested in. and what kind of work they've completed. And we had 20 area judges, experts in their field, willing to come, people with their PhDs, people who are retired, people who are in the business of the work that we're doing, to come and support them and ask them questions and listen to their presentations. But I also had 140 students, so 140 minus 64. I had 80 other students coming in all of those schools there, 15 different schools, to listen, to be part of, to talk science with their peers, to see their friends present, but also to be part of the breakout session. It was something I did differently because I really wanted to change this to a community building science. And the teachers were like, do that again. It's amazing. So these are the students who were of that 140. You'll notice a quarter of them are sophomores. A quarter of them are doing their collecting of data or planning it. A third are students with completed research. A fifth are still collecting their data. And I was supposed to, please, bring you pictures of that amazing event that didn't happen. You'll notice it says canceled. So this is my website for it. Can you go to 2025? So if you scroll down, to me, these are just the pictures right there, the most powerful pictures that were taken last year. All those kids, there were like 7 different tables like that. And you see how engrossed they are? They were like that for the entire time. And the teachers and I were wandering around. I had special teachers and like ready to step in and help guide. Didn't need it. Like we were just sort of standing there going, okay, what do we do now? This is fun. Because they were so engrossed in sharing with each other what their work was. And that is really my goal. So any questions about the invitational before I go on? It's our 3rd year. It's going to happen in some format or other. What you see is all the students who were going to be presenting, who are looking forward to presenting in some way. And everybody was so supportive when I had to cancel. Well, I had to postpone and then I had to cancel. And the teachers really wanted to make it happen because they value it. Yeah. So this year, 2026, 4 seniors, as I said, they will be presenting at TH Invitational if they're ready by December 1st, which was Francesca. So you'll find her abstract in there in behavior sciences.
Number 4, room 1, whatever that is.
There's a page number at the bottom.
Page 10, last one.
Well,
I spent a long time on this abstract, guys. You should read it.
They were only allowed 200 words, and I threatened to cut them off. So it was impressive. Most of the abstracts were 197. So there's also a fair that's held at RPI every year. That's a poster session, and I hope to have all 4 of my seniors presenting there. That's in March, so it gives them a little bit more time to finish up their research. And then our local symposium, please listen. It used to always be, for 11 years now, it's been the Tuesday after Memorial Day. We can no longer have it that day. Dr. Brinder and I have been looking at and figuring out when it can be held. For this year, we're doing Monday, June 1st. Our Science Research Department of students is very track heavy, and they changed the group that we're part of so that the sectionals for our group is earlier or later. It conflicts, let's put it that way. And it's amazing. I mean, researchers like to run. So, so 2 of my 4 seniors are both runners and also placing well. So they're likely to do well. So we needed to move it. So if you can come June 1st around 6 o'clock, probably in the library, but definitely in the high school. They all have very different topics. If you remember, some of you, we've got effective movement, nature exposure, and creativity and productivity, which is Francesca. She found some very interesting things. Ethan is working on the impact of animal-assisted interventions on teens' ability to focus. That one's coming along. And then Sophia was working on the menstrual cycle and ADHD symptoms. She developed a tracker with Mr. Proper's help in terms of developing a website. And she's got some participants using it, and she's going to be evaluating how using that affected their understanding of how their symptoms interact, which is part of why her professor was so impressed by her. And then Ben is working on a computer modeling program, which thank God for Mr. Winter and Miss Kerner, because I have no idea what he's doing. He has an expert who was helping him for a long time, but he lives in Australia, so it's pretty intense. He's created a computer model that uses MATLAB Simulink, and he's comparing 3 different wind turbine generator types. I forgot the turbine. To see at which speeds they can continue to produce energies before they falter, because different situations have different amounts of energy. I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I always think I'm going to be short, and I never am. That's my 10 minutes up.
Thank you.
So my 7 juniors, they are in the process of completing their research proposals. I have one who's almost ready for her SRC meeting coming up. 2 of those projects are affiliated with the FFA program. We've got a combined focus, so their science research project is also going to be going to the FFA competitions in next year. One of them is working on soil amelioration processes, and the other is looking at pesticide and insecticide impacts on non-target species. One project is going to be working in a laboratory in Albany. We're looking at stem cells. She worked there this summer for a little while. She's got a professor who's willing to have her use some of their stem lines to investigate a question that they have been wanting to investigate but haven't investigated yet. So she's going to be doing that data this coming summer. We've got 2 that are working with mammals. One is looking at gut microbiome and diet and how it affects your anxiety levels. So we'll be doing that with mice. So when my request for animals in the building comes through, I promise to keep them in their cages. And another is looking at the differences in intelligence factors in dogs that have been trained to be service animals and dogs that are just pets. Well, not just, but you know what I mean. And then another one is looking at lie detection and whether or not you could teach students to be better at detecting lies. And then finally, we've got somebody working with existing data. There are databases all over the scientific community. The internet has really increased the amount of sharing that's being done. And so he's looking into sustainable fuel use in 4 distinct states of our nation, as well as their carbon footprint, to see if a shift in sustainable fuel use is affecting carbon footprint. 2 sophomores. They're both digging deeply into the existing research on their topic. One is looking at the impact of climate change on wildlife distribution patterns, and the other is looking at the ability of physical therapy training programs to prevent injuries in athletes. Very, very broad focuses of my students. We don't yet know what the interested freshmen are going to be interested in. I don't know how many. You know, I'm hoping for more than 2. 2 is the lowest I've ever had, but the 2 that I have, they're going to go all the way through. Whereas that year I had 10, I only ended up with 4 seniors at the end. So it's, you know, it's a variety. Next week, I'll be presenting in the 9th grade biology classes to let them know what's happening. The goals for next year. I would love to have the largest senior cohort ever of 7 students. That is my hope. And I would love for them to present at both of the possible presentation styles that we have. I would like to return to 2 sections of the course this year due to scheduling and the bubble year of 9th graders going into biology. I had to go down to 1 section of the course, and you saw all the variety of topics. I am one human being, and although it is an independent course and they do get outside experts, in order to do that range of ability levels, I need more time. You know, Francesca 1 year figured out, what was it, 2 minutes per student I had one time?
I couldn't even talk to you. We had to set timers of how long we were allowed to say like hello and good morning, because then our allotted time was gone and you couldn't ask questions.
So, you know, the more independent, more supported at home students, they can handle the just 1 section, but the students who need more support from me are struggling a little bit more and things are going more slowly. So that's a please from my perspective. And like I said, increases. I would like to streamline that invitational that you are seeing there. There are some teachers who, like right now, it's just me and our wonderful business office. Lucy has been amazing, and our wonderful cafeteria, Kyle, has been amazing, and our IT support has been amazing. But I've got some teachers in the community who are looking to be supportive and helpful, so I'd like to try and work on making that happen. And then I was talking to them about the idea of trying to get inter-school peer support. So this is a vision that I have. One day, probably not next year, but starting the process of expanding that idea of the breakout sessions to be something that could happen throughout a school year more frequently. And I would like to increase the community awareness of our annual symposium. I am not a very good saleswoman, so I need to work on that. And I'd like to increase community attendance, much like our concerts in place. And that's all I have. All right, thank you guys.
Very good.
So the other thing I had that I didn't write in that handout is, some of you have probably already seen it. It's the awards that our students have earned over the last 10 years. So if you wanted to take a look, awards is not the main key point, but I think it shows you the caliber of program that we have.
We haven't had ours yet, but don't worry.
Francesca will be on there somewhere. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great.
We have the superintendent report.
We're just going to start off with, and Margaret is going to speak to this topic, but we do want to acknowledge one of our board members, family members passing, and there's reasoning behind that. So Margaret?
Yes, so Ron, who's been a dedicated servant to our district for 70 plus years, I think, showing up, doing all the work, always has a good attitude, really focused on being here for the right reasons and making the school better for the students. When I heard his father died, I asked if I could just speak about his father, who I'm sure helped shape this guy that we all know and love. So Ron's dad, Todd Horwit, was a native of Hillsdale. He graduated from Rojan in the early 60s. He went to Harper College, joined the Peace Corps after graduation, and spent 2 years in India helping with their farming production. Came home and taught in New York City, where he met Ron's mother, Aida, thank you. Taught special education, where he set up a family environment in the classroom with Aida and two youngest, Laura and Jonathan. It was the only special education class set up like it in the state. In 1977, he came back to Hillsdale to teach at Rojan/Taconic Hills, taught for another 22 years until the new school was opened. He was a popular teacher that introduced chess to students and would take them out to play kickball as they finished school, work for the day. I just read Francesca's thing, so maybe helping them a lot with having outdoor time. That sounds like a good subject, Francesca. He always challenged his classroom with different tasks to help stimulate their thinking process. He was one of the early pioneers for Books on Wheels. And as good of a teacher as he was an even better father. And he also took Ron and his kids to peace rallies in DC during the Vietnam period. He never lost a sense of activism, and he will be great in this. So just wanted to honor him. Let's just have a moment of silence before we go on with the meeting, just to honor Todd.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We also will have the flag at half-staff in the spring when a date is determined for the celebration of life or memorial service. Thank you, Margaret.
Absolutely.
All right, commitments again for the year. When we talk about legislative, on February 2nd, I've been invited to the Questar Legislative Breakfast. Been asked to speak about EV buses, and I'm also registered for the lobby day. Continuing to work closely with our assistant superintendent. Recently, she modeled MTSS meetings for the elementary. We worked on course proposals, and right now we're working on curriculum and budgetary decisions, having conversations with building administration as well. Building leadership capacity, that's always ongoing. Committing to weekly classroom visits, observations as part of the APPR process, and the cell phone assembly, which recently happened at the junior senior high. And then again, being visible. A lot of the winter sports have coincided with evening meetings, so that's been a challenge to get to something and stay for the whole time, but it's been great to go to the concerts. And last week, the National Honor Society induction, which is always really special because the students take the lead on that and introduce the new inductees. So it's really great. Highlights in the last month, the ceremony, the negotiations that were already mentioned yesterday. Last week was the State of the State address from Governor Hochul. We've continued to grow our multiple tier support systems, establishing those and rolling out how that is shifting the culture and how we think about supporting our students. We started last week with the liaison committee to develop the 26-27 calendar, and the monthly meeting with the Faculty Association. And I bring that up because we decided that we wouldn't meet in December because it was so hectic. We didn't have anything that was added when we met last week. We were able to finalize a few conversations that were ongoing, not because there was conflict, but because it was, they were things that required data and doing some research. One of them was something about payroll and how we break out payroll for 10-month employees, our TRAP program and the stipend for that, and the IEP writing days, just to ensure that that new piece in the contract is utilized. And then we also had a good conversation about the end of the year. The current contract says elementary teachers have 3 half-days. Last year we looked at the data. We don't have good attendance on half-days from our students. We changed it. It was a win-win for teachers and families. We got a lot of positive feedback by just having students have 1 half-day and giving teachers a full day and a half-day for the work that they do at the end of the year. So we're going to continue with that. So that was really exciting. I do want to welcome and I thank Marcy Haywood for being here, appointing her as our director of PPS. As you know, since I started in October of 2023, we've had 4 different people sit in this position. So we've been looking for somebody that has expertise in this area and is ready to make a commitment to our district. So I want to thank you so much for being here. I don't know if you want to add anything. She has really 24 years of, this is her 24th year of experience in education, multiple different degrees, but has been an elementary teacher, an assistant principal K-8, an assistant principal K-5, pre-K-5. She's also been an acting interim principal for a K-8 building, director of elementary education, and an assistant superintendent. I don't know if you want to speak at all for a moment just about why this position spoke to you.
I would love to, so thank you. I think the most beautiful thing about Taconic Hills is the community. and you feel it from the moment you step foot here. And so for me, I've always been on the academic side, but I believe that you can't reach the mind unless you access the heart, right? So you have to go through the heart. And so PPS is close to my heart in that it's the what we're doing behind it, right? It's the human part of, yes, we have all those academics and I'm all for it, right? But we have to remember who our students are so that we can hear their voice, so that we can hone in on their talents and their own passion, right? So that we can curate that and support them through it. And so PPS for me is really the heart of why I became an educator. It is not for weekends off and, summers off and all of that, right? It's about growing people. And how do we support leaders and families and teachers and students in reaching that? And so I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be part of your community. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be part of taking care of kids. You do amazing things here. That is evident. I was inspired tonight listening to just even the new courses. That it's like, yeah, you're getting it right. And I'm excited to be part of a system that's getting it right for kids and families. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. It's definitely bittersweet to announce retirements at the end of the year. Angela Webster, as we know, nominal math teacher, 31 years, and then 13 years as our athletic director. Just attention to detail like no one I've ever known, which is so appreciated and will be missed. High level of rigor, not only for the students in her classroom, but for all of our athletes. Grant Prime, elementary teacher for 25 years, dean of students for 14 years, still firm, high expectations, patient, calm, really has done, even in the few years that I've been able to see him, does a great job with our students, helping them to learn how to problem solve and make good decisions, and just even really helping them with building their basic math knowledge. So we thank them both. Just a calendar change, I did send out an email, but because our February board meeting was scheduled over the winter break, we did make a quick change. We still had a meeting on February 11th that was going to be our Board of Ed workshop, so we've changed that to our board meeting night. And then February 25th, we will have our Board of Ed workshop, which will be our junior and our senior high state of the building presentation. Okay. So thank you for that, because it just supports people not having to come in over that winter break. The executive budget, I just want to point out, I put this in here so you could be aware of it. Because we were in negotiations all day, and this happened yesterday afternoon, Mrs. Du Bois and I have not had a chance to sit down and talk about these shifts and changes, but I felt it was important to put these up here for you, some of the highlights. It's a 1% decrease.
So everyone will at least see a 1% increase this year versus
Okay.
last year we were given 2%. In foundation aid.
Yeah, and still looking to really support so many things that are important to our public schools. That is really hard to read, but that just shows what the proposed increase in aid is for our district compared to everybody else. When you do look at it in the report, and it will be in the Board of Ed weekly report, you can see it better.
I will send out the budget status report that breaks out what this is.
Thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
All right, the lobby day is coming up. If you are interested in attending, please let Alexis know. If you can't attend in person, there is February 6th virtually. And these are upcoming dates. Monday, January 26th is our winter retreat with Dr. Andrews. A focus on government and discussing board goals and where we are so far. And then you can see when the other dates are, that are things that are important and coming up. Does anybody have any questions?
The retreat is in here.
The retreat is in here, yes. Yeah, we could do it in S112. It's,
Yeah, I like that setup better, yeah.
Okay. And we also just discussed that for our summer retreat, we'll go off campus, but for our winter retreat, we'll hold it here. So,
And you guys all got the menu, right? Did it get to you, Sam?
yeah,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
You were talking about I can pass it back to her. You were talking about the calendar changes and talking about next year's calendar. And you sent out a survey for pre-K and kindergarten orientation. It just didn't give access.
Oh, I changed it the next morning.
Thanks, Alexa.
A lot of people did it, and I emailed them saying we should be good now. Yep.
I was like, you don't need 500 emails. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
And you got the card too, that, yeah. I just want to make sure everybody got it to read. Oh, you didn't do it, Rob?
Been to school for how many years and can't carry a pen?
You and Joe. Although Joe brought one tonight.
No, Joe did not bring a
Both with me.
pen.
It's got the mini golf pencils.
I have it.
Are we done with
We're done with hers.
Okay. And now we have Mayor Francesca, the student board member.
Flip flop quickly because her computer died.
Oh,
so
sure.
I pulled up on mine and it's not quite right.
Okay, we'll start with the school board, the Board of Education member activity report. Sam, we'll start with you.
I went to the workshop last week. Was really impressed with our elementary ed improvement numbers scores.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a really nice presentation. By Ms. D'Amico and Ms. Backlund.
Janine.
I went to the bowling fundraiser for the seniors.
Did you guys love it?
So fun.
It was so good, wasn't it?
It was such a good time. My birthday's coming next week, and I'm trying to convince my kids that I want to go bowling. for my
Oh, that's
birthday.
funny.
They're all like, "I wanna go bowling."
Oh, they should have come. They would have heard the great DJ music, wore the cool shoes.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
And I was a mystery reader for the kids.
Did you
And I
love
got-
that?
I thought, yeah. Well, I loved it.
So
And I
much
also got
fun.
a thank you little note from all the kids. It was so cute. Well, there was only a couple of kids. Some
What
of the
grade
kids
did
were
you
out
read
of
to?
It was 4th through 6th. That new
Cool.
special
Yeah.
class, 8 to 2. But there was only a couple of kids. A lot of the kids were out sick, but it was still fun to do.
Joe?
I attended the bowling. That was fun. They built the whole bowling alley. It was pretty cool. There was a lot of people there.
I love it.
Had fun as usual.
You
Or a couple
you
of my
like
friends.
bowling. Joe's serious about his bowling.
Yeah.
Margaret?
I went to bowling. I had a terrible time.
I
I but I played really badly.
funny.
I have to practice before the next time I go to one. I've been to some volleyball games, a track meet, the policy meeting. I did go to the National Honor Society inductees, and that was really great. And I thought the presentation, the workshop we had for the elementary school was really well done. The principals, they had a lot of creative ideas for getting attendance better, and it's working really well.
I know, that was like one of Janine's things, and it's like, that's the one where, I know.
Yeah. Is there another one? A senior one?
We have
the
the
senior one
junior
coming.
one.
Yeah.
Molly?
I also attended bowling. I had the best time ever. I think we should all do it for board activity. I have a retreat. I think we should all go bowling together. I had negotiations this morning, and then I also did the workshop as well. And that was pretty much this month. So.
Yeah, not too busy, but I would have bowled worse than Margaret, so had I gone. My main score is 0, but I need the guard, so they put up the
bumpers.
the bumpers, yeah.
I just want to reiterate, the workshop was amazing. They did a great job of presenting to us. We even did a little tour. I think we're really in the right direction on trying to get attendance back from our students. So I think what they're doing is great. I'm with the Teamsters, we're bringing the simulator here on January 30th. I just don't know where yet. I think Nick's supposed to tell me where we're gonna park, but
Whole parking lot.
out here or in the back?
Cool.
In the back.
Did you
So-
hear the morning announcement today?
Oh, I didn't, no. Oh, they talked about
Uh-huh.
it? So anyway, if any board member is interested, we'll be here on January 30th if you want to come try to, simulate the trip. I don't do it because, no, I won't do it. But anyway, yeah. Rick's done it. He
I
went
got
to
it. I did pretty good. I didn't
You
crash the
did,
truck.
you did do good.
Always good.
You?
Oh, I attended the negotiations committee meeting, and we had a pre-negotiations discussion. That was interesting.
Well, thank you.
No bowling for you, Rick?
No bowling for me.
All right.
Yeah, I was out of
I'll ask
town.
you a question
And
as
you.
an officer of the senior class. Would you guys go to another bowling event if it was held in the spring?
I would go. I was out of town, that's why I couldn't go.
Good to know.
I would have went.
Okay.
Okay. We're planning to do more and more activities, like we might do roller skating, we might do more movie
No.
nights, and I think there's a lot of
Break a hip, no.
when
Yes.
we rent out a place and we can have all the Toronto Hills community members, family members, and staff in one place.
Yeah,
It's really
it'd
sweet.
be really cool.
Speaking of the senior class, we are doing more fundraisers if you'd like to continue to donate. We're planning our senior class trips. Our trip times typically conflict with the Questar graduations, so our goal this year is to have multiple smaller day trips so that people can afford to go on one or all of them, and they can pick and choose which ones as they wish. We're hoping to go on a tubing or whitewater rafting one-day trip, an overnight at Pocono Valley with a stop to see museums in New York City, and then a one-day trip to Lake George, I believe on Juneteenth, to relax a little bit. So we're currently fundraising online. If anyone wants to donate, there's a QR code, or I can email you, or I can just share it through Alexis, I'm sure. And we're going to be selling tickets to the Wizards basketball game, if anybody's a sports enthusiast, as well as carnations for Valentine's Day, which I'm sure you will all love to get. Other updates, I was so excited to present at the symposium last week, and guys, you have no idea, to continue information about science research with a more anecdotal note. This is my 7th school to Toronto Hills. I have been an international kid. I've been to schools in Massachusetts, New York, and more. But the science research program is one of the reasons I've stayed at Toronto Hills. I think that this program, to me, is so valuable and so unique. It gives me such a basis in having ownership over my education myself. The ability to just write a cold email to my now mentor, Dr. Finn Barber-Erickson, who's in the Netherlands currently teaching, was just a skill that I may not have had without this class. Just a cold call someone and say, hey, can I be in your lab? Hey, can I talk to you? What does this mean? These are things that you're not getting from your biology class, which is equally important. But if you're a kind of kid who's itching for more, I started with deja vu and I ended up with creativity and nature exposure, but the whole process was fun because I like to learn. And that was one of the things that has made my experience at Toronto Hills oh so enjoyable. And the idea of returning to what we had my sophomore year with 2 sections of science research and being able to have more of dedicated Miss Hopkins time has made my life much easier. And I think that having this process of support during the earlier years especially, and during the entire experimentation process, is incredibly valuable for anyone in the program.
Ms. Hopkins, just bring Francesca as your saleswoman.
Yeah, right?
Good luck.
Well, my daughter actually wants me to hire her as my assistant, and administrative assistant, as well as emotional support person.
I'll just come back for a judge after my
She's getting
PhD.
job offers already because of science research.
Yeah.
On to other things in the high school. The high school drama club is currently working on their spring musical production of Hello, Dolly. If you come to see it, you'll see students starring, namely Callie Nowak, Kenneth Waterhouse, Ethan Smith, Jenny Martinez, and Emma Miller having lead roles. It's a super fun play. There's not a lot of violence or any dark topics, just lots of love and how it gets all tangled up. We're going into another Spirit Week next week after midterms. The theme of this one is self-care. We'll be wearing a lot of pajamas. There's a lot of de-stressing. We're going to hopefully have face masks on. going to be a really great time. I hope you participate. What else? We have recently finished all 3 of our Dollars for Scholars events for people to be eligible to participate. We had a soccer tournament of the alumni in the beginning of the school year. We had a letter writing on behalf of Dollars for Scholars around Thanksgiving, and we just had an alumni basketball game. I think we had roughly a third of the senior class participate and therefore is eligible for scholarships, which is an uptick from previous years. However, I think that if we were able to host these events on school days where students would be able to stay after school to assist, we would see an increase in participation, just because figuring out athletics as well as transportation can, of course, sometimes be tricky. But from my Dollars for Scholars meeting last night, we're looking great. Yeah. Didn't go, huh?
No.
That's all right. We had a Zoom with the financial aid advisor, but we were on a mute, so he couldn't hear us. So he was kind of just like, this is what you got. Thank you. And then hung up. Wonderful. I'm currently working on finding mine and Braden's replacement liaisons for next year. We have thrust Spencer Harrington and Emma Stickles into the role and hoped that they will succeed. As for positive and negative changes to the school recently, of course, we have seen the phone ban become much more serious and regulated in schools. I personally have seen an increase in student interaction in the hallways with the phone ban. There's a lot more face-to-face connection. It appears that this ban is greatly beneficial to the middle schoolers and underclassmen specifically, from teacher testimonials that I've spoken to. Upperclassmen teachers have reported a lesser change, suggesting that the ban might be a little extreme for individuals so close to adulthood. Take that as you will. We do understand that it's New York State law, but these are just reflections. And I hope you all go to see the elementary band chorus in our show, January 27th next week. But that's all for tonight. Thank you as always.
Well, thank you, Francesca. That was awesome. Okay, now we're on to new business. We have the policy. So we have, as you notice, the first reads there. We will not be voting on those tonight. We have the second reads, which is student attendance, student personnel expression, and purchasing. Can I have a motion, please? Margaret? And second, Joe. So Margaret, you want to talk about any of those?
Yeah, so the 5,100 student attendance, we reviewed the policy because of the large number of student absences. Lynette went over it with Karen and the staff from elementary and high school, not staff, but principals. And they're, like I said, the elementary school is doing a lot of really creative things and changing things. The high school is working on it too. And the policy, I don't think ultimately really needed to actually change, right? But it was a great thing to review the policy and just bring up the conversation of, okay, what are we doing, and look at that. And then the other one is 5225, student personal expression. We never had this policy. It goes with 5220, so it's just when you have a student expression, this is to then put the parameters in about what can and should not happen for school events, after school events. It's, I think it's kind of like a good idea, basically, to have those parameters in place should anything litigious come up, I think. So it's, I think it's good. We never had it before and we've adopted it.
Not yet.
Well, we were about to adopt it. Yeah, the NSBA sample says this policy clarifies the parameters for student speech that impacts the school environment. So I think it's good to have, and we all looked it over and decided it was a good idea to adopt it. And those are the only 2 second ones, yeah.
All right, anybody have any questions? All in favor? Okay, thank you. Okay, we have field trips. We have the FFA going to the State Leadership Conference in Albany. We have the 6th grade going to Catamount Resort, and the high school drama club to Shakespeare and Company. Motion, please. Ron and Sam. Any questions? All in favor? Thanks. Next up, we have the donations. We have $2,000 from Berkshire Takana Community Foundation for after-school swim lessons. We have $384 from Hannaford to go to the Taconic Hills Elementary School, and $318 to go from Hannaford to go to the Taconic Hills Junior Senior High School. Motion, please. Rick, I saw you that time.
I have to raise my hand right for your space.
Second, Sam. Any questions? All in favor? Sorry, I was one of my class ones. All right, we have new course approvals. So this is just the courses that were discussed tonight in Lynette's presentation. So we need a motion, please. Rick, second. Ron? Any questions? All in favor? Okay, we have Health and Welfare Services, the approval to Taconic Hills for Health and Welfare Services per pupil rate of $761.96 for resident students attending non-public schools and other districts. Motion, please. Sam, second. Molly? Any questions on that? All in favor? All right, we have an MOA with the Taconic Hills Faculty Association authorizing the clay shooting team advisors stipend for the 2026 spring season. Motion, please. Rick and beyond, sorry. Second is Joe. Any questions?
I just have to fix the word. It says Administrators Association in here. It's like faculty by accident. I just saw.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, any questions? All in favor? All right, now we have personnel agenda, which will be B through Q. I need a motion for that. We've got Margaret, second. Ron. Any questions on any of us? We'll go through those. So we have Angela retiring 31 years, as Lynette mentioned in her report. Grant Prime 25 years. I don't think there's anything else that I saw. Does anyone else? Oh, there was Marcy is on G, yes. Sorry, I knew there was something else, but I didn't highlight it myself. Sorry, Marcy. Yes, and welcome to Marcy again. And let's see. So some of the spring coaches haven't been filled. Are they going to be filled, or you're not gonna?
Yes, I think someone for the softball is an outside person, so Eileen's working to get their
Okay,
paperwork done.
gotcha.
And I don't think they're gonna have an assistant for boys varsity track.
Okay.
Not sure, but I don't think so, right now.
And the Scientific Review Committee. After school swim lessons, that's really awesome, grant funded. All right, anybody have any questions on any of that? All in favor? Okay, public forum number 2. Okay, and we're not doing, I don't see, no need for executive, correct? Motion to adjourn?
Additional items to discuss.
Oh, additional items to discuss. Is there any? I was going to mention the simulator on that, but I did it earlier, so I'm good with it. Okay, motion to adjourn. Joe and Molly. All in favor? Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you. 7:20, yes.